Hello again, everybody. This is Pamela. I'm sorry that my live stream got cut off, but apparently somebody has it out for me. I don't know if it's something with their algorithm or what. I haven't posted anything copywritten within the last several months. Um, I think it must be that glitch that YouTube has been talking about. So, for the time being, and possibly for the rest of my tenure on YouTube, I think I'll just stick to filming my videos. That way I don't have so-called bots come into my chats and try to belittle me and make me feel like my word don't mean shit. I think of people like that have to belittle others for their orientation, their physical limits, and basically for gender or their political affiliation. I'm just trying to get through this thing like everybody else. It's called life. It's called we are living in full blown major league reality right now. A lot of us can't go out to a movie. A lot of us can't go out to a show. We can't go to a game. Uh, Kids can't even go to school. And they might not get to go to school until September, which really frazzles up people like my sister, who has a daughter with special needs, by the way. And it's really weighing on everybody. And, I'm just doing the best I can under the circumstances. My brother knows it. But I know if I go and stay with members of family, we would be at each other's throats. We are totally stretched to our limits, and we're doing the best that we can. Thank you. Uh, and a lot of people are worn down by these everyday updates on the current situation. And I'm not going to say anything about it. But what I will talk about is that we've lost Kenny Rogers over the last couple days. And you know what I did the last few days? I got my farm game up on my computer right now. Let me see. I'll pull up. It'll show you my camera and the main page of my Facebook. So, the main game page of the Facebook. And this is all I've been doing. Playing games and watching TV, but even that is becoming so mundane that I don't even bother with TV much these days. I'm hoping that I get my SSDI and then I could upgrade some of my library um, to kind of ease the stress. I finally went into Amazon last night and watched We Are the World, uh, the story behind the song. It's a video that's available and you could buy it too on Amazon Video. Um, it talks about the history and the recording session of that historic song. Uh, and it was filmed. Some of it was filmed at the famed A&M Studios, which was formerly Chaplin's Studios, which is a real treat in itself. Chaplin Studios was founded by Charles Chaplin. Uh, he goes by the pseudonym The Little Tramp. Uh, but as years passed, it became A&M Studios, and it has housed one of the biggest important benchmarks in this history. Um, in fact, speaking about Kenny Rogers, a big loss in the musical community over the last several days. Um, he was 81 years old. He died of natural causes. There's no public memorial as of yet, and don't know when or if there will be. And I certainly can't blame the family for not having a public memorial. Um, but just mere days about, I think on the 10th of this month, he talked about the anniversary of We Are the World. A lot of stars, from Al Jarreau to Kenny Loggins to Hall & Oates to Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, Cyndi Lauper, Diana Ross, and I think one or two members of the Jackson family, uh, all got together after the American Music Awards that particular night, and they put together a masterpiece, if you want to call it that, uh, to help the hungry in Africa. In fact, I watched that documentary last night, and it was very eye-opening and very telling. They say the song is still available and is still helping people over there. Uh, if you watch the documentary, there was a lot of laughter and camaraderie or camaraderie all around, but there was a point in the documentary that a woman from Africa had come up to everybody in the room and thanked everybody for their participation and broke down in tears because probably members of her family were dying. And I happen to think that we hear about the plight of the homeless and the hungry, and we should be thankful for everything we have because that could really be us. In actuality, George Harrison spearheaded the charity event kind of thing. He did the concert for Bangladesh. Then the next thing I remember is We Are the World, the concert for Nelson Mandela, Voices That Care, and it goes on and on and on. Uh, and we need more positive things like that to happen. And it seems like we've lost our way in a sense. And as I've said, Kenny Rogers was a major league big deal. I mean, I'm not really a country music person, but Kenny Rogers was the exception to the rule, as is Dolly Parton, because she could talk a blue streak and tell you how she feels. Like, I think they had something on here on YouTube from 60 Minutes Australia where the guy asked her about her breast size at the time. This was back in 86, I think. And she laughed and she says, "No, no." And then she told the guy, up yours, Buster." And it was funny. I'll have to find that when I get a chance this afternoon or tonight. But we lost a major league influence on country music. And not just country music, but pop music. I never really thought of Kenny as country. I just liked him because he was just so likable. He was a down to earth guy. He didn't make the ragtag tabloids. And people were saying stuff about his health there toward the end, but that's a given. But he didn't have any trouble with the cops. It all worked out nice and clean for him. And for the last 2 days or so, I've alternated between Kenny Rogers, the first edition, and some of my other favorite bits of music throughout points of my life. And as I watched that special on the We Are the World, the story behind the song, I guess the emotional ice block had finally wedged loose somewhat because I started figuring out who was alive, who wasn't around anymore, and it really hit me with a harsh reality. And it's sad that today's generation won't know how fun people like Ray Charles was, and people like Stevie Wonder. Uh, you know, like I said, there was laughter, lots of laughter, but there were some tears too. Um, but as I close this video out, ladies and gents, I think for the foreseeable future, I'll be filming my videos. Hopefully things will go smoother that way. If you have any questions, I will be monitoring all comments and all commentaries, and whatever you want to ask me will be monitored. Any slams against me will be deleted. And this is the way it's going to have to work, probably for the next year. So, yeah. And I hate to admit this, but I'm worried. Not just about me. I worry more about my brother than I do myself. Because he's going through a lot, and his woman's going through a lot. In fact, we're all going through a lot. Stress, it's no fun. Believe me, I've dealt with it. And bless my brother. He has come over to make sure that I'm okay, but I think we're going to have to start limiting the time that we get together. And I could certainly understand that. And like him, I hate this. Like him, I hate this. I would give my eye teeth to be able to go up to Easton and go shopping, stop in at that movie theater or their Build-A-Bear, and just do things that I want to do. But I can't. This is a national emergency that we're under. Take all the precautions you can. Look in on your loved ones when needed. And if you can, FaceTime. That's important. If you have elderly people that know how to use a tablet or a computer, FaceTime. FaceTime, FaceTime. I've just been kind of holding down the fort here. I don't want to leave my house because you never know when some unscrupulous people might take advantage of the situation. So I'm not going anywhere. Nope. And I think for the foreseeable future, I'll find other avenues to post my videos on. It's just been really, really, really tough right now. And I'm sorry my streams keep getting cut off, but I think I got a troll within my midst, but no way to be able to block certain people. But I'm going to work through that. And to anybody who's dealing with stress, I feel you. I feel you. And before I go, I want to direct you to David Pakman. Let me see if I can find that while I'm on here. I'll go back through my history and see if I can find it. Where a guy gets on the phone with David Pakman, and he's emotional. And he is just so stressed about this whole thing. And I could certainly feel the guy's pain, because it seems like our whole worlds have been turned upside down. And I'm always asking this question. What kind of a world are we leaving our children? Things have gone so far off the page within the last several years that it's sad. I mean, kids have to learn how to duck and cover from a school shooter. Now we have to worry about what I call germ warfare. It's the sad reality, because you've got people that are sick, people that are dying, And I can't seem to find my history here on YouTube. So, let me see here. Let me see if I can go in through the regular YouTube. They make this process a pain in the butt. Ah, here we go. Yeah, because let's see. See if I can find it. But, yeah. But I was on here last night talking to, listening to a phone call to David Pakman. He was only on for a very short time. Let me see here. Yeah. I'll play the audio, but then I'll share it with you. So, yeah. And then I must contact YouTube to find out what is going on. Because, let's see here. And it's sad. It really is. Because, let's see. I'll play the audio, but a video that I found last night that David had posted, let's see, on the 22nd, which was indeed last night, and it says emotional.
Dr. Squatch is the best smelling, best feeling soap on the planet.
I don't
Get
want to
ready
hear
to
that
step.
moron. I don't want to hear that damn moron. But there was an emotional caller on David Pakman. Let me clear out this stupid ad here. But I had to kill the sound in order to do that. Okay. So now that we got this on the main David Pakman screen here. But he had a video up called Emotional Callers, Passionate Plea for Sanity. And the words he said broke my heart, and I felt the exact same pain. And I got to the point where I said to David in his comments, I said, "Can I call you? I need to talk to someone. I feel like this person does. If this is not solved soon, I may end up pulling the ripcord. Tired of the moron in charge. I am too at the point where the stress could possibly kill me." And here is what the video says. I'm going to go ahead and play that. So let me turn the sound back on since the ad, Dr. Squatch Soap, has been turned off. So here we go. I want you to listen to this emotional caller. So I want you to hear this.
14. Who's calling today from 914?
Name's Dan. I'm in Westchester, New York.
How are you?
I've been better. I was somebody who Biden was not my first choice. In fact, he was my last choice.
Right.
Of all the opportunities of people to go with. But I'm sorry, I just don't see how anything matters anymore at this point with what we're going through. I think where I am now, I'm about 40 minutes north of New Rochelle.
Okay.
So we're pretty close to the epicenter of one of the largest breakouts in the United States.
Yeah.
And I just can't see how anything else with as somebody who, has a family. I have a 7-year-old son now who his entire world is flipped upside down. And I just think about the world that we're leaving our kids, where they have lockdown drills, and now there's going to be probably virus procedures to go through, and it's just really, really sad. And I know that Bernie Sanders is the more ideal candidate for a good amount of your viewers and listeners, and myself as well. But the guy in charge right now sucks so bad, and is such a monster to this country and to the world, that I can't even imagine how anybody who is remotely a liberal or a Democrat or a progressive, how it's even a thought in your mind. you have to put your whole effort into Biden at this point.
Yep.
Look at what we're
It's a
dealing
sad
with. And
reality.
I'm very emotional about it.
I get, I hear you. And listen, this is, we're all going to remember, life before this virus thing and life after. And it's going to change a lot of things for a lot of people. Not everybody's going to make it, just mathematically, that's the reality. And one of the things I'm noticing is that faced with the virus, things like the primaries and arguing about Bernie versus Biden and stuff like that, it's becoming very backseat for a lot of people. And the thing is, I get it, but we also don't want to lose the sort of the thread, the plot, which is we've got to get Trump out because it's hard to imagine a worse person, and yet it's hard to do electoral politics when we're trying to figure out how can we stop the transmission of this virus.
Absolutely, and again, I'm the kind of person that thinks that Bernie Sanders is 1,000% on the money when it comes to healthcare,
right?
And a lot of his other ideas, I think, are exactly where we need to go. But this is such a unfortunate and life or death situation.
Yep.
That this is the threat that people were talking about. It's the threat that we've been talking about with the changing environment, with climate change, that's going to eventually affect us in the next few years, and we're going to have these similar conversations about, why didn't we make the necessary changes when we could?
Right.
The kind of drastic changes that we're doing now with hunkering down is the same kind of things we need to do with climate change, and that isn't going to happen with this guy in charge at all.
Right.
And it's not going to happen with these Republicans in power either. They're just dishonest ghouls, and we need to all come together and realize that we're leaving a hole for our kids to grow up in an environment where we either had to swallow the choice of going with a guy that is not our ideal candidate, who we do not agree with on the majority of issues with, but we can agree with that he's not Trump.
Right.
And he will do maybe something different.
Right. Yeah, this is not a drill. It becomes very real very quickly, I think, is the point you're making very lucidly. Dan, I appreciate the call, and stay safe up there in Westchester.
Thank you very much, and keep up the good work.
All right, great to hear from you. That does do it for calls today. I know a lot of people wanted to get on. We have 35 people holding, but we did what we could. We will take a break, and we will speak to you very, very soon if you weren't able to get on today.
Let's kill that. So, reality has just hit this country. I was just sharing that and you can watch the video to prove that I wasn't making this up. We are all under the stress of what's going on, and it hurts. It hurts to hear a young man say we are leaving a shithole for our kids. He's worried about global warming and what's going on the House of Hell, as I like to call it. And I feel so bad for that man. I'll be sure to post the video below. But think about it. We are going through a cataclysmic change here. This is not the time to be fighting each other. It's not the time to be flagging each other. I am opening up my platform so we could have honest discussions. If you feel like you're going to pull the ripcord, you can talk to me about it. And I said those very words on that video. I said there are times I feel like I could pull the ripcord. But if I don't talk about it, it's going to eat you up. I've learned that a long time ago. A lot of people don't understand it. They either don't understand or they don't care. And let's talk about the morons that went to the beach in Florida that were partying and having a good time. Hey, I'm not going to let coronavirus ruin my spring break. I just heard that a lot of those kids tested positive for coronavirus. Let's see. Let's look that up here real quick. And I'll be sure to post it below when I get this up. Oh, God damn it. I'm not having a good morning, as you could probably tell. Florida partiers testing positive. God damn it. Let's see. God. Leave a message. I'm in the middle of making a video here. Spring breakers testing positive for corona. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. See here. Let's see. Let's go with the most current story here. From 12 hours ago? Let's see here. From Newsweek. Okay. Okay. On Newsweek's website, 5 Florida college students test positive for COVID after spring break trip. And it says the University of Tampa in Florida on Saturday confirmed that 5 college kids have tested positive for COVID after traveling together during a recent spring break trip. UT has been notified that 5 UT students traveling together and with other University of Tampa students during spring break have tested positive for COVID-19, the university tweeted on Saturday. We sincerely wish our students and any others may be affected a full and rapid recovery. In a separate post shared to Facebook, the University of Tampa said that a 6th student had also tested positive for COVID. The additional positive case, an unnamed student who had recently traveled internationally, was tested on March 16th. None of the 6 cases have been hospitalized, and all students are currently under self-isolation. And it says here, of the 5 students who were traveling together during spring break, 1 did not return to campus after the trip, the university said. And you can follow their tweets on Twitter. The University of Tampa is the Twitter page. Newsweek had reached out to the university for additional information. News of the 6 Florida college coronavirus cases comes just days after the Republican Florida Rick Scott, the Senator Rick Scott, who previously served as the state's governor, told individuals to get off the beach after images of crowded beaches began circulating online despite the White House's social distancing recommendations. Individuals need to take responsibility, and every level of government has got to be very clear. Don't be on the beach unless you can somehow be completely by yourself, Scott told CNN on Thursday. I mean, we've got to figure out the social distancing. Every part of our government has to start telling people, take some personal responsibility here. Don't infect other people. Don't take a chance that you're going to be the one who's going to cause your grandparent or your parents or another friend from school to get sick. He added, get off the beach. Social media users heavily criticized the spring breakers and other beachgoers online by ignoring the White House's guidelines. Florida's current GOP governor, Ron DeSantis, on Tuesday announced stricter guidelines to fight the spread of this virus. And he says, limiting beachgoers to groups smaller than 10. I think the steps we're taking will really reduce density, reduce crowds, stopping short of ordering beach closures. And let's see what it says here, if I can get my pop-ups down. But it says here, let's see here. Some of the local officials in Florida took it upon themselves to close the beaches after DeSantis refused to do so, including mayors of Miami Beach and Fort Lauderdale, according to NBC News. As of Sunday morning, there were 311,000 confirmed cases of COVID worldwide, with over 13,000 deaths and at least 93,000 recoveries. So, yeah. And that's the story. Those beachgoers got their daily dose of reality. I'll be sure to post that link below in the video. But, we gotta work this out. We gotta squash it where it lives. We have to be as proactive as we can. Sanitize, sanitize, sanitize. And if you have to go out for a walk, distance yourself from other people at least 6 to 10 feet away. I know it's hard to do, but only go out if it's a need. It's been tough on all of us. Trust me. I know how some of you are feeling, but, we are going to do this. So, we're going to have to do what we can to make sure that our friends are safe, our neighbors are taken care of, but we have to be really careful. And I think those beachgoers got a heavy dose of karma. I saw some of the video from Florida's beaches, and it's sad. It's scary. And now the University of Tampa's students, some of them are now paying for it. They went on their nice little vacation, and they come back positive. And it's tough, but you've got to man up and take responsibility. Take personal responsibility, as the governor says. And even my own governor here in Ohio has talked about it. And I'm doing everything I can to keep my sanity. Just like that caller I shared the audio from. And I'll be sharing that video too. So, yeah. So, give me a few minutes. I'm going to link these stories and the David Pakman video, and you can watch it for yourself. I think reality is hitting a lot of us here this morning, so I'm just looking out for my fellow friends, neighbors, and whoever else we know in this world. We're all in this together. It's not just America that's dealing with this. We are dealing with it around the world. Who knows when this is going to end? But we got to pull ourselves together. We have our down moments. I know I've had mine here the last couple of days. And if you want to talk, the chat space will be open, but any slams against me will be deleted. Because now is not the time to be starting problems. And, and I will be getting in touch with YouTube about their streaming service. And I'm going to let them know. Every time I get on the last 2 to 3 days, I've had a lot of my streams kicked off for just trying to talk and try to ease my nerves. But I hope I'm not getting a cold. But, if I did, if I do, I do, I'm just wanting to take care of my family and look out for my brother, and that's all that counts. I'll hopefully get on here later today and do a better video, but, just hold on to yourselves. I don't know how well we're going to get through this together is going to help, but if you want to talk, my chat space is always open. You know that. And I hate not being able to communicate with friends on a live basis, but YouTube's algorithm is being a pain in the padded behind, so yeah. But I'm hoping to look into that, and I'll get it resolved one way or the other, so. Yep, and if it means blocking and removing people, I'll do what I have to do. So, and I have to do what I have to do, in terms of reading news, especially for those that don't have a thing called Voice Corps where they read to the people that are blind and visually impaired. They want to be able to read a newspaper, but they don't have machines that could possibly do that. So I do this service for those that really can't read a newspaper. So just trying to do what I need to do, to kind of work through my own anger and resentment of this stupid infectious disease, as they call it. And if it was a person, I'd punch it right in the jewels. But it's an invisible enemy, as they say in the business of television. But use common sense, like the governors have said. If you're in a citywide stay home or a statewide stay home, stay home. Your governments are looking out for your welfare. Be lucky that it isn't a thing where they could send out policemen or some other branch of military to enforce it. Just straight up common sense. Well, have a good day, everybody, and I hope to get back on and do another video. But I'll probably start filming my videos on a more regular basis. The chat thing is out. As far as I'm concerned, the live chats will be pretty much shoved to the side. I'll keep you posted on what's going on with the YouTube algorithm, so have a good day. Call your family if you can. FaceTime if you can. I may have to set up an account back on Skype and see if I could Skype with family, because I know they have the video feature for their phone, so yeah. Have a good afternoon, and I will talk to you later. Bye.